All right, welcome back, guys, to another episode of Open Spaces with Siera Vernice. And we got another guest today, guys. I'm super excited. We are welcoming Miss Erica. Let me make sure I'm pronouncing your last name right. Is it Satori? Okay,
It
okay. I
is.
was saying it all night yesterday, like trying to practice. I'm like, I'm pretty sure it's Satori. Okay. So we have Miss Erica on here today, and she is going to give us some insight on human design, astrology, and self-mastery. I am super excited for this conversation because I know a lot of times people get kind of scared when you hear astrology and, just kind of look at things different. But I feel like I'm a huge believer in there is life with the Bible and also science. And even me being in school right now as a psychology major, I have the debate all the time with classmates, family members. I'm like, science, you cannot tell me is not a part of our being. So I love the fact that you are a social science expert, and we're going to get into all of the things, alignment, emotional, human design. So I'm super excited about it. The tone for this is really just relaxed, and we're just going to have an authentic conversation. We're going to learn how we can be soft based upon our human design, and
Yeah.
touching them with our feelings. So I'm super excited. Um, Definitely not my typical conversation, but that's what season nine, Unfiltered Alignment is all about. I want to get down to the nitty gritty. I want it to be messy. I want it to be to the point where we're really unpeeling back who we truthfully are and not just the fake stuff, the surface level. So I feel like this conversation is really going to open up a lot of insight for all of us, honestly, because I know I'm going to learn something today. So I'm super excited to have you. Erica, would you like to tell the people more about you? What else it is that you offer, anything that you wanted to let them know about?
Yes, thank you so much for inviting me on. I just want to make sure you can hear me because I'm having a little trouble hearing you, but you can hear me?
Yes, I think it's a lag. I discovered that yesterday when I was recording on here too. So I think you're fine. It's just there'll probably be pauses in between.
Okay. Okay, we're good to go. We're good to go. Yes, thank you for inviting me on. I'm excited to be here today. Yeah, I am a social scientist. I've been well, technically I'm a retired social worker.
Oh.
So I started my career over 25 years ago as a social worker, and I recently stepped out of the hustle and bustle and retired. And my last position in the corporate world as a
Mm.
C-suite executive. So I climbed that corporate ladder and made it to the C-suite as a chief diversity officer. So I've done all the things. I've had a full career, and now I get to pour back into my community members who are coming up behind me, whether it's in the corporate world or just in a private life, and just want to enjoy a softer life or be a stronger leader or experience safer love. Because I've been there and done all of the things, and I have some breadcrumbs and some nuggets and some inspirations and some tools that people can use, younger than me and older than me, that they can use to achieve those goals. And so, yeah. My name is Erica. The name of my company is Satori Synergy. And so, yeah, you did say that correctly.
Okay.
Satori is a Japanese word. I
Oh.
lived in Tokyo for 4 years,
Hmm.
and the word Satori simply means aha moment. It's the moment the light bulb cuts on. It's the epiphany. So
Yeah.
that's what Satori means. And then because my clients, they always experience a lot of aha moments. I get that all the
Yeah.
time. They be like, oh, ah. So I'm
Yeah.
like, look at all of these Satori's. So, uh,
That's
and then
good.
synergy, and then synergy, the second word in my business, is just putting all of you together. We're synergizing all of your energy. So that's what you were describing in your opening is they are all parts of you. There's spirituality, there's science, there's duality in life.
Yeah.
There's the up and the down, there's an in and the out. So everything has duality. And so what I've learned to do and what I guide others to doing now is to accepting all of you self-awareness and self-acceptance. And the
Yeah.
major tool I use on top of my 25-year career of just guiding people through their social problems as a social worker and consulting and guiding executives in the business world. What I do now is I use human design as my favorite orientation tool. Because what it does for me, I don't have to guess. Because when I would coach and counsel people throughout my career, I wouldn't really know what was unique or special about them, or what their predisposition was, or what they was naturally good at, or how they were designed to communicate or make decisions. And so that was important to me because a lot of advice that people get out on the internet or just maybe at a professional development meeting people have to go to at work or
Hmm.
whatever the environment is usually generic advice, and which is fine because I did that for over 20 years. But human design allows me to get specific just to you. So when I'm talking to my clients or whoever I'm in front of, I can answer their questions with what applies to them. Because you could tell one person one piece of advice to go get it, go do it, go approach them. That's good advice for them, but that's not good advice for somebody else. And so human design allows me to differentiate, treat you as an individual, see what's special about you so I could get you set in the right direction.
That's awesome. I love that. I love that. I definitely will take it. I was just like, I wasn't too sure about what it was. So I was like, and I was going through my night, because I had, as I told you before we started, I had to go get blood work done. So I had to fast yesterday. So I was like, I can't wrap my head
Mm-hmm.
around it right now. I'm hungry. So yeah, I will end up taking it because even just the way that you explained it, it made me feel way more comfortable and made me understand why it is that you do human design, the chart and everything. So I really would check that out because I'm curious to see now. I'm
Yeah.
curious to see what's unique about me. I mean, I kind of know I'm unique, but just to kind of name it and like you said, that generic. I think I always would say like, "Oh, I'm unique, I'm different," but like in what way? So yeah, now I'm curious. I'm ready. I'm
Yeah.
ready to take it. So I know you mentioned a couple of things I want to touch on. Um, you said something about a softer life, and I know that you also mentioned like throughout your social media platform that, the safer love. So what does a softer life as a strong leader with safer love actually mean to you?
Oh, I love that question because that's the first thing people see when they get to my website. Safer
Yeah,
love, stronger leadership, safer love. And so, but even in that, that is general, but even with that, the answer to that is different for everybody. So
yeah,
what I constitute as a softer life, you may not register as a softer life for you. So I know for me, what I know about myself, softer life meaning that I feel comfortable. Like what I've learned about myself over the years, I need things to feel beautiful, smell good, feel comfortable, sound good. I don't like, crazy sounds. I like to be comfortable. So that's my five senses, right? I need my five senses
okay,
to be comfortable. Or I've learned and I've studied and watched myself. I can't function. Like when we were doing a mic check and right before we went live, I was like, whoa, it's hot here in Phoenix. And so that I realized that's just a part of who I am. What I'm going to verbalize and express probably has something to do going back to one of my five senses, being
yeah,
comfortable, uncomfortable. So that's my baseline. But that may not be your baseline. And human design
mm,
helps me see everyone else's baseline. So when I speak to them and I guide them, there's no need for me to talk to a person who's not kind of hardwired to really be concerned about whether they're comfortable in the chair or whether they need a fan or not. Their mind is racing about something else. So I know how to speak to them. So what they define as a softer life, because maybe to them, who's someone who's more mental and in their mind a lot, a softer life can be like, wow, just freedom to speak and think without being interrupted. So the answer is different, depends on each
yeah.
person.
Yeah, I know for me, when it comes, because I know we get the buzzword, and I feel like I have a question that comes up about that. But I know that now that, the internet and words and people find out new words and whatnot. But I know that when people say like soft life, the soft energy, everybody's like, oh, you want a softer life. And, people look at it as if it's an aesthetic. But for me, I personally feel like exactly how you explained it for somebody who
Oh,
carries more mental, for me, it's more like, I'm at peace. I can feel like, I don't have to have the weight on my shoulders. So it's like, I do agree that it is something that is probably going to pertain per person, but everybody makes it seem like on the internet that soft life is just like, oh, you don't do anything. And it's like, no.
exactly, exactly.
All right. So for the next segment, I want to focus on alignment, because obviously my podcast and just everything about my brand is life in alignment, staying aligned with the things that we say that we want to receive and that we want to do, and continue to move into that. So I want to kind of explore some alignment through the lens of human design and astrology. So could you touch on that and how, they are intertwined or somewhat maybe different?
Absolutely. That's a great question. And you were saying in your opening, like, we can explore science and spirituality. Excuse me. And I just want to first thing I want to declare, human design is not a belief system. My clients are from all different types of religions,
Okay.
cultures, geographical backgrounds. This has nothing to do with religion. It's not a belief
Okay.
system. It helps you know who you are, meaning how you're hardwired, how your energy is set up. Like we're all born with a fingerprint, a unique fingerprint. We're all born with blood type. We all have energetic imprints that we are born with as well,
Okay.
just the same. And science proves that we have a aura that surrounds us, an energetic aura, and extends out about 6 feet. It's like our own personal Wi-Fi.
Mm.
And that's our body language. It's just
Yeah.
science. It's just our body language, right?
Hmm.
And that's what animals and babies use to speak to one another. They
Right.
use body language. For some reason, as we grow up, we are socialized out of understanding that we do have our own body language and Wi-Fi aura around us, and to not trust it and not use it, which is crazy, but especially today because we
Yeah.
use artificial intelligence every day. Is in our phone, is on our watch. If you have a, that type of watch, you had a medical appointment, people go to the emergency rooms, and if they're having a heart condition, the first thing they're going to do is hook you up to the heart monitor. Well, that's
Yeah.
electricity. Why does that work? Because you have electricity and energy running through you.
True. Yep.
That's why that works. If we weren't energetic beings and we didn't have energy around us, that heart monitor, when it connected to us, or that Apple Watch when it was on our wrist, it wouldn't be able to get our heartbeat or notice that we're exercising. So it's
Yeah.
reading our electric currents. That's all that's happening. It's nothing spooky.
Okay.
And so human design charts that out, and,
Mm.
and and I know how to read it and interpret it. So that's what I do. I analyze it for people. Um,
Okay.
and so, yeah, that's all it is. I just wanted to clear that up. But what it has to do with alignment, once you know how your energy works, so just
Hmm.
think of a circuit board, or like you can open up a computer, open up your phone, and you'll see the motherboard, all the circuits, right?
Yeah.
And so your human design chart, when I look at it, it's like a circuitry and a circuit board, and I can see how your energy flows and where it stops and,
Hmm.
and where it's connected.
Right.
And that shows me how you're designed to communicate, how you're designed to make decisions, how you're designed to be in relationship with other people. And it explains, like, when you're in a relationship or a friendship or partnership, it explains like, wow, how come when I'm with her, I feel lit up a little more. But when I'm
Hmm.
with her, I kind of feel like, I can see the reason for that. Because different
Okay.
your energies speak different to each other. Everyone has their own Wi-Fi signature. Everyone has their own
Right.
YouTube channel they're walking around with every day that we're broadcasting out.
Yeah.
And so that's what that does. And so when you understand that, you can align with that. And so it's just like getting on your podcast or your YouTube. And if whatever you're saying doesn't align with the energy that people feel from you, they're gonna call that
Right.
misaligned. They're like, yeah, I
Right.
hear what you're saying, but your body language is telling me something else.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Right. So that's what alignment is. And so with human design, I can help you understand exactly what your alignment is. And alignment just means, and listen, we align all the time. And
Mm-hmm.
people who don't understand astrology, or that feels kind of out of the way for them, that's fine. But if you acknowledge your birthday, you acknowledge astrology.
Yeah.
Uh, your birthday is your calculation of, this is NASA science. It's your calculation of of where the sun was in the sky the moment you were born. And if you acknowledge your birthday
Right.
every year, you are acknowledging that energy, that's a reset time for you. And that's a great time to
Right.
align. Like, people say, oh, my birthday. Oh, I'm turning 25. I'm turning 30. So you are acknowledging and even
The
celebrating
fact
the
that
fact, oh,
yeah.
I'm leveling up. I am evolving. And so
Right.
it's just that your birthday is the one that we commonly talk about and people always know about. But
Mm-hmm.
we have energetic resets with every planet, not just the sun. We
Right.
reset with the moon every month and
Yeah.
all of the rest of the planets as well. But people just don't have common knowledge about that. And that's what I do. I take one of my degrees, my undergrad degrees in sociology. So I take sociology and biology and psychology and astrology. And I know, excuse me, all of those different languages. And I put them
Mhm.
together and package them in the way that I could coach and guide people to understand themselves as a whole so they could synergize and show up aligned and as their authentic self.
Okay. Awesome. I love that. So that's really good though. Even when you said something about the birthdays, it's like people probably would never look at it that way. Like I know for me, I've never looked at it in that lens, but even thinking about it, it's like, yeah, we technically are going around every year, like, and obviously the way, like you said, design of the sun and all of that. It's like people probably would never think that acknowledging your birthday is basically the same thing as like believing, and not
It
necessarily
is
like you have
astrology.
to believe in astrology to the T, but it's like at some point you have to give, and that's why I said in the beginning, like, I'm not a firm believer in thinking that it's only one thing. Like the duality, as you said, it's very all intertwined. Like I don't know. I love the fact that science plays a huge part in just us being, but there's a lot of people who don't recognize or feel like, it's true. They feel like it's either one-sided where it's based in religion or based in, whatever it may be, because some people believe some crazy stuff, some crazy stuff. So I definitely love the fact that you explained that out. And even recognizing the fact that some people acknowledge it when they acknowledge their birthday as well. So I love that. Um,
Absolutely.
So I want to get into kind of like the emotional and energetic checkpoints that people ignore.
Yeah, yeah. Um, what do you want me to start specifically? Let me.
I mean, it could be
And
anything. You could
so,
do the emotional first, and like I know for me, there's a lot of points in my life emotionally that I ignored. So we could start there. We could start there.
well, what human design helps me do is help people develop their emotional intelligence.
Okay.
And so your cognitive intelligence, your IQ, you're kind of born with that. That's set.
Mm-hmm.
Your emotional intelligence can be developed. And what emotional intelligence is the intelligence to first know your own emotions.
Mm-hmm.
And then secondly, be able to accept and recognize that other people are having their own emotions.
Yeah,
And
that's a
not only your own emotions, there other people are having their own life experience. Other people are in the middle of living their life just like you.
yeah.
Right? And so what we as humans forget is that and what emotional intelligence helps us to remember in human design as well is that, wow, when I accept myself, I know what's unique and elite about me, and I can lead with that. I'm aligned with that. This is when I speak authentically. You can tell
Mm,
whether I'm just repeating what I heard, what somebody else said, or I'm trying to talk about something that I don't know. All of that comes out in your tone, in your body language. So you can
right.
tell when somebody is aligned. So once and that happens, how do you get there? You get there once you have knowledge of self, right?
Right.
Knowledge of self. Then you can accept the fact, wow, other people are also have their own unique experience right now. And I should just respect the fact that, wow, they're having their own experience. So take two siblings growing up in the house together. They could
Mm,
grow up, and then when they, had the family reunions or just reminiscing, they could tell two completely different stories.
yeah.
Both stories are true. Two things can be true.
Yeah.
And that's the concept of synergy. Because, yes, the brother's experience was true, the sister experience was true. And then when you synergize those, that's the total and complete truth. I'm not minimizing the brother's experience, right? And I don't want to say whatever the sister said happened didn't happen. That's her truth.
Right.
That's her experience. And so that's emotional intelligence, being able to first understand that you are having an emotional experience and other people are having theirs, and that you can understand and respect. You don't have to, like, if you want to use the word believing, that's not the word I want to use. You don't have to subscribe to their story. If you're like, no, I was there, it was a little different. Okay, but we're just going to have to accept the fact that two things can be true.
Yeah. And I can say for me, that's something that I had to learn because I used to be the person that would fight to prove my point that even growing up in a household full of
Mm,
sisters, and even relationships with like my mom, my dad, I would have the constant conversation back and forth, especially with, I feel like between my sister, but at some point, me and my sister, we kind of agreed to kind of be like, okay, you lived your life, I lived my life, and that's how we felt, and we live with it. But it's like me and my mom, we kind of still have that. My mom feels like, oh, you didn't go through that. You didn't experience. And I used to get so mad and try to defend myself. But now that I've built up my emotional intelligence, I'm just like, you know what? You see my life as what it was, but I know what I experienced. I know what I felt. And all I have to do at this point is just accept the fact that, I had my experience and I know how to navigate through it. And I know how to, like, just ultimately don't make that my end all be all, and whatever truth she want to live with, that's fine. So I definitely believe that, and I agree that sometimes you just gotta let people have their story and have their perspective, and you focus on yours, and that's all that really matters. So I love that.
and isn't that empowering though? Isn't that empowering? Because
Yeah,
what you're
that's
doing, you're
so
taking
good.
your power back.
Mm-hmm.
Because you're spending so much energy trying to convince them, and trying to convince them that they should think like this or be like that. You are literally wasting your breath, meaning your energy, your life force energy. You're wasting it talking to a brick wall.
Yeah,
Why do that? You could take that same energy, keep it for yourself, empower yourself, and go live your best life. And
yeah,
then that person, place, or thing, once you are aligned, you are less likely to be influenced. And
yeah.
so it doesn't matter what someone else's truth is. And the advantage point that I have, and I've lived an incredible life, and I'm not even to the halfway point. So I'm just thoroughly blessed, and I'm going to continue. But I'm well traveled, and I've spent a lot of times, even within this country, the United States, with all different several types of states and cities and things. And
Mhm.
so I've had a lot of diverse experiences. And so I really understand that different people live different lives, but it is true for them. I think it's what, like 8 billion people in the world. I promise
Yeah,
you, there are 8 billion different realities happening right now.
yeah.
There are, yes.
That's
I,
true.
I I promise you. And so it takes so much pressure off of you when
Mm,
you realize there are 8 different realities happening right now. I'm only responsible for mine.
right.
What am I doing in my reality right now? What am I call it drinking water and minding my business. That's what I do. Back to
Yeah,
drinking my water. If I realize I'm in a back and forth with somebody, I'm not trying to change their mind or convince them. That's not my job. That's
Yeah,
not my job. I was like, hey, you're going to do what works for you. I love you regardless. And
right.
if there is a way I can support you, I will. And I hope vice versa. But other than that, I'm gonna go drink water and mind my business.
Yeah, I can definitely
Right?
agree. I got to a point where I was like, I have to stop responding to the way that people make me feel, or really give it, like you said, giving them the power of feeling like, okay, now I'm angry, you made me angry. Because I know in a past relationship, I used to always like kind of exhaust my energy. And it got to the point where I was like, I'm tired of this. Like, I know that I could
Yeah.
be happy, I know that I could be peaceful, but it's like, if this person can pull all this energy, that means they have too much power of me, and that's crazy. And even now, like with my son, I kind of teach him because he's in his teenage year phase. So the attitude and everything is peaking. So I kind of try to not respond in a way where it's like angry or like we're yelling back and forth at each other. Cause it's like, even when he gets mad, I tell him, it's too much energy. Relax. It's too early. He be so mad at me. And I'll be like, listen, you'll understand. You probably are like, this lady is crazy, but you'll understand when you get older, like some stuff is just not worth responding to in that manner because you're literally losing yourself in the time that you're getting angry, yelling, whatever, but you're also exhausting your energy too. It's like you're going to be tired. You sat there and cried and yelled, and now we back and forth, and now you ready to go to sleep. Like it's the middle of the day. Relax. So I definitely agree with that because energy is. I need all my energy, and I need the energy to be good.
Exactly. Yes, and that was your question, emotional and intelligence and energetic intelligence.
Hmm.
Yes, you get to own your energy. You don't have to give it
Yeah.
away. And even when I hear, clients like you kind of just mentioned like, "Oh, you made me mad." That's a
Hmm.
signal that I hear and I help people course correct. No one else can make you feel any type of way.
Yeah.
You could take that back whenever you want to. You just have to learn how to do it. And I teach people how to do
Yeah.
that. And it sounds like eventually you were able to figure out some sort of level of how to bring it back. You may not have had the perfect language for it, but you energetically figured it out. You realized that your Wi-Fi signal and their Wi-Fi signal was kind of staticky, or
Yeah.
or the sound was coming in and out. It's like I don't think we communicate well all the
Yeah.
time, with you being who you are and me not asking you to change, me being who I am and you not asking me to change, meaning, and that's love, accepting people as they are. So if we're
Right.
naturally who we are and we're still not communicating, then that's okay too, because every person that you interact and come across is not meant to be a permanent part of your life. They may
Right.
be meant to be an important part of your life. That doesn't
Right.
mean a permanent part of your life. we,
That's true.
we we thank them for coming to our life and helping us progress to the next level or discover something about ourselves. But maybe they did their job, and we
Yeah.
thank them for their services. And hopefully, we imparted something onto them.
Yeah.
And our this dance is over. But yeah, that's a good point you make. You say you have a teen. I have a young adult and in the 20s, and she says, "Mom, wow, how she's out and beginning to adult. She's like,
Mhm.
wow, I really see the difference people who don't have self-awareness and people that do." Because she even said, I told my children they're human design types in their teens.
Okay.
And so she's saying, Mom, I cannot, and just because Mother's Day was recent, she like, Mom, I
Yeah.
cannot thank you enough for teaching me about myself and my human design. I know how I make decisions. So when I'm out here and I don't just want to call you, you have
Mhm.
given me the tools in my body. Okay, I know when I feel it here, this is how I make decisions. But she'll say, but that she could really tell what people don't have knowledge of self. And she's like, man, I wish two things. I wish parents had to leave the hospital with their birth certificate and with their child's human design chart.
Yeah.
Because that's what she said. She's like, because that will eliminate, because she looks at it as a manual for life. You know how when you buy a new, I don't know, a new watch, a new camera,
Yeah.
a new refrigerator, it comes with a
Yeah.
user
It
manual.
should, yep.
And so she looks at human design as a user's manual. And so she's
Yeah.
like, well, I know, if I'm feeling angry or frustrated, I've taught her how to get herself back in gear and
Yeah.
reorient herself so she can move forward. So yeah, that's an excellent point you make.
Yeah, I definitely agree with her because I feel like from childbirth. They need the human design. They need the birth certificate. They need a developmental psychology class. Parents need a lot because I feel like we definitely just get
Yeah.
thrown out there. And if it wasn't for my mom and like seeing how other people raise the kid, and even that is kind of touchy because it's like that don't mean it's right. But I do agree. She right about that. But it's also so good because I feel like I'm not wrong and you just really just confirmed something for me. Because I used to tell people all the time, like, you can't be mad if I feel like this is going back to the point of people being in your life for, a reason. I used to tell people all the time, like, when
Mhm.
it's time to cut off and communication is over, it's over. People would think and say to me, like, oh no, you're just so quick to cut people. No, if we're not aligned anymore and we can't communicate properly, we can't, be in the same room without yelling or be then no. And people would literally be like, you're so selfish, you're so cutthroat. And I used to be like, well, it doesn't serve my energy anymore. It doesn't serve in my life. Like, it's time to walk away. So I think that's so important to touch on because people think that we are with each other and whoever the relationship may be is for forever. And that's not true. Like, you may have some permanent people, like you said, but there's a lot of people that you come across through your lifetime. And it's like, thank you. Thank you for being here for the time, but now it's time to
Yeah.
walk away and time to move on. Like, and that's just that. So thank you. I know I wasn't crazy.
No, that is true. That is true. I call it, everyone's in your life for either a reason or a season or a
Yeah,
lifetime. And
true.
however it works out is the way it's supposed to work out.
Yeah. And there's no
Yeah,
reason to
that's
stress
and
about
that's
the
okay.
outcome
And
too.
I find rest in it.
Hmm.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. So yeah.
Yeah. All right, so I want to kind of shift things into because I feel like you probably work with a lot of ambitious women. So I kind of want to get into some women that may be listening. They're very ambitious. They're very like, strong in what they want to do, but they get stuck in that over functioning, that hustle mode. And I feel like we talked about this maybe before we aired. But that hustle and bustle and that survival, how do you feel like they can kind of get a little relief from being that over functioning and hustle mindset?
Well, and I just wrote an article about this in my blog, in my library, and my website, and did a video about this. But um, one of the things that I teach ambitious women um, is learn how you're designed to communicate.
Hmm.
Because a lot of us, excuse me, we want to be strong leaders, but we don't want to be strong all the time. We want a soft life and a safer love as well. So we kind of it's two parts of us that we need to
Right.
synergize. And that's what I help them do. So you can show up in your career as the boss you are, and whatever that looks like to you.
Hmm.
But it doesn't have to be a constant hustle mode. The remedy for hustle mode? Alignment.
Yeah.
that, that's what alignment means. I'm in the
Hmm.
flow of
Right.
where and how I'm supposed to be moving and shaking in life. Because if you're in alignment, guess what? You don't have to hustle.
Yeah, everything's at ease, everything's
It's
peaceful. Yeah.
yes. Yeah. So that I wanted to make that connection because a lot of people talk about and they understand. And
Hmm.
and, and I come out of that survival mode and hustle culture. I'm the first person in my family. I'm the first college graduate, and a lot of first in my family. So I get it. I I get it, and I've been there, done that. And again, I'm helping other people blaze their own trail. And I'm not telling anyone to be like me because I know you have your own human design. I have mine, and you have
Right.
yours. And I'm going to look at yours and tell you how you design to thrive.
Hmm.
And that's a lot of mistakes a lot of people who are mentors or coaches or advisors make. They say, well, this is how I did do it like this. This is my three-step plan. Yeah, but that don't work for her. Her energy is
Yeah.
different.
It's
You
not a
may be
one
an
size fits
extrovert. She
all.
may be an introvert. You got to
Yeah.
give them different advice,
Hmm.
right? And so I'm making the point is that I could answer the question, just overall insight, but when I'm one-on-one with my clients, they get their specific answers to that question.
Right.
How do they come out of hustle culture, based on how they are designed? I mean, because I've had twins as clients, and I've had to give them different advice.
Right. That makes sense. I'm
So
not even
you truly
surprised
are
by
your
that.
own individual.
Yep, that
Um,
makes sense.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I know for me at some point in life I was very much over functioning, especially like when I worked for other people, it was very much like and it got to the point I think it was about probably last year, and I think I talked about this on a previous episode with a guest. I was kind of like I felt like no matter how much money I'm making, and even when it was down to my marketing agency that I ran, like no matter how much money I'm bringing in, this does not feel comfortable. Like I feel like there's a weight on my shoulder
Mm,
every single day. And even now that I've shifted my job and my business to life coaching, I told myself I'm not starting my morning scrambling. I'm not rushing. I need everything to be soft and peaceful and just, in alignment with what it is that I feel and how I, want to go about my day. Even today, it's a slower day. I have a longer packed day, but it's going to be slow. Like when I'm done with you today, it's like, okay, I'm going to go figure out what I'm going to eat for lunch. And then I'm going to maybe possibly lay across my bed. So it's like from shifting from that high and over functioning woman to now being softer, safer, in alignment with what I really want for my life. It does feel good because it's like a complete like change. I used to be hustling every time, trying to figure out how to make extra money here and do this and showing up at my job. And I tell you, I spent more time at my job running around than actually sitting at the desk. And it was like, why? When my main job was to sit at the desk and be in front of the computer. So I could definitely attest to that over functioning in that hustle mode is it's not fun. I definitely don't recommend anybody to do it.
yeah, because I help people with that type of burnout.
Mm-hmm.
And again, the answer to all of that is alignment. And people hear that word, but they don't know how to get to it.
Yeah.
And that's what I do. I help them get to what exactly is alignment. Like,
Right.
I hear it, but and I see people, and I can see people like, wow, she kind of seems like she's in her zone, in her flow. How did you do
Hmm.
that? And she may share, but that doesn't mean it's going to work for you. That's
Right.
why
And
you
I was
need to
going to
know
say
how
that.
you work.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Because I
And
know
so, and
for
I'm glad
me,
you mentioned, you may lay across the bed.
yeah.
Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Oh, I was just saying, you said that you may lay across the bed, and I was so happy to hear that because I can see in your human design chart, are you designed to need to take naps or not?
Yeah.
And I am. So,
Yeah.
it's- but some people, they're in the way their energy board, their circuitry is set up, they can go, go, go. I can see who, because there are some people who are Energizer Bunny and they're designed to
Yeah.
go, go, go. As long as it's satisfying to them, they literally have an energetic surge. And it's like, how can you keep going? And they like, well, because I love doing this. I love working on this. And the energy is still being supplied. There are other type of people that I can see in your chart that, yeah, you may be excited about something, but you're going to need a nap. And I teach them to honor their natural cycle. So again, whether it's your birthday, your sun cycle, or you have a
Mhm.
monthly moon cycle, every planet has a cycle that gives you a different type of energy. And I just wrote about that in my blog as well on my website. Says you're not having a crisis; it's just your cycle. So that'll help people understand when I'm talking about when I say that. But you also have some people need rest cycles throughout the day. So it's just not babies and animals that need naps. Some of us adults, we still need naps. So I thank you for saying that because I definitely want to normalize that for the people who it applies to.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think there's a negative stigma around naps, and because people think, oh, that's lazy and you're not doing anything. Because I know I have the debate with people who see me, because
Yeah.
sometimes I do have my days where I can run full through 12, 13 hours and be fine and go to sleep and wake up the next day. But sometimes I need a break. So I'll run it. I'm a night owl, so I can stay up till 2, 3 in the morning, and that's just my cycle, and it works for me and still get up at 7 a.m. and be like, okay, I'm ready to conquer the next day. But some people will look at me and be like, "You need to go to bed." But I'll look at people that go to sleep at 7, 8 o'clock and be like, "How? There's still so much day left." Like, if anything, maybe I'm just getting into the deeper part of my day. So that is interesting,
Oh,
and important that you know said that it was a cycle depending on your human design and perspective on life. Because I
yeah.
know I've been needing a nap sometime, and I can stay up late.
Yeah, and it's part of our culture as Americans. Like I said, I've had the pleasure of traveling, and it's kind of just an American hustle thing because we
Yeah,
run off of capitalism, and that's why the
yeah,
hustle they've sold us hustle culture, so
yeah, pretty much.
we can fund and support capitalism. And
Hmm.
so they need that go, go, go. And they need us to believe and think we're energizer bunnies and just work, 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 work all the time. They need the labor. So if they
Yeah,
convinced us to do the hustle, right? And then they shame us for wanting to rest. That's just capitalism. And I'm just
yeah.
making a point because in Japan, even in their corporate world, they take time out for naps. They have cots. They will lay down.
Oh wow.
And that's part of their culture because most Eastern cultures are are tapped into nature. America separates us from nature.
I believe
We
that.
even the fact that we change the time and we have different time zones, um, or in the fall we fall back an hour, in spring we spring ahead. All of that
Mm,
is man-made and it's against nature. Nature already has its clock. The name of the first clock was called the sundial. So I don't
mm,
know if your viewers remember learning this in elementary school, but the sundial was the first clock. We are designed to clock the sun, and we do that every year with our birthday and all of the other planets. That's
right.
that's just nature. But America culture has taught us to not believe in our nature, not believe in our indigenous and our internal knowledge and connection that we have with nature. It's there. That's where your power is.
Yeah. Yeah,
So
I can't
yeah,
stand that.
and you're allowed to use. Yeah,
No, I was just saying I can't stand that spring forward, fall back. They need to take that out. I don't like that at all. It messes up my energy every time. I'm like, please stop.
because it's messing with your nature. Like I
Hmm.
said, if your viewers don't remember learning why that is, it is all back to capitalism. It is back in the times when we only can transit through the railroads when they was laying the railroads going from the East Coast to the West Coast.
Hmm.
And the economists and the capitalists needs to change the time. It's all about making more money. It's
Yeah.
all about making more money. And so we had to sacrifice our nature, ourselves, again, just erasing our knowledge of self, our identity, our connection with nature, so more money can be made. Now, I believe in synergy. The name of my company is Satori Synergy. So,
Hmm.
aha, I'm aware of this, but now how can I synergize? Right? So yeah, I could, I live in America. I love being an American, but I could also love myself at the same time. And how do we work this together?
Right.
Yeah, so that's what that's all about. So whether any type of relationships with yourself or wherever you are or whoever you're in a relationship with, it helps you understand how, okay, you can be who you need to be. I could be who I need to be, and we
Hmm.
don't have to hurt each other because we understand. Or, like we were saying earlier, it may get to a point where we might just have to shake hands and say, "Thanks for coming. This was a interesting experience. I learned a lot and I grew a lot. Thank you." So either way is okay.
Yep. I agree. I definitely agree. I hope that everybody listening is enjoying this conversation because I am loving it. And I'm looking at the time like, dang, we need another episode because I didn't even get through the rest of the thing, but I'm still going to ask some more questions. I just thank you again. Like, this
Yeah,
is
go ahead.
definitely a conversation that needs to be had. And I feel like even down to like the America and capitalism, the human design, like this is so much that people aren't in touch with. And it's like when you don't know these things, you're just completely unaware. So I thank you again just for shedding light on human design, just, your energy and all of that, like the synergy and, when it comes with relationship with other people. I love this whole entire conversation. I wanted to keep going. So thank you. I'm
My
gonna get
pleasure. My
to
pleasure.
another question. So when it comes to the softer life and safer love, which I feel like, oh, we kind of went through this. Okay, let's do the next one then. Because that one we talked about already with the emotional safety, but let's talk about the internal blocks that we may have from conditioning, childhood patterns. How are those kind of like stopping us when it comes into human design?
Yeah, so I missed a little bit of the front, but I heard about conditioning from childhood as far as in relationships. Is that
Yeah, so
okay?
like just the
Yeah,
internal
so
blocks.
absolutely. That is absolutely true. Because first thing in relationships, people can't give you what you deserve. They can only give you who they are. So that's the first revelation that'll help solve a lot of the conflict and communication issues. And this is why you want to get to a point where you're self aware, because once you get to that point, to that level, you're only going to be willing to enter into relationships with or continue in relationships if they are also self aware.
Yeah.
Because you realize you're talking to someone who can grow. You have to be aware. You have to be talking to someone who's self aware because they are willing to grow. They know that they didn't stop growing because physically you stop growing around what, 1921. Your
Mm-hmm.
brain doesn't stop growing until 20. So you're not even an adult. Your brain can't even adult until minimally 25,
Right.
really 30. So you don't even know
Right.
who you are. So relationships so early in life are really just practice.
Yeah.
And really just practice because you're not even who you are going to be yet. So, and so when
Uh,
you get to a point where you are in a
oh,
relationship and you need to show up as your best self, so just realize you aren't fully developed, so that person may not be fully developed. Now, no matter the age. And so that's important to have that knowledge when you come into a relationship.
sorry, y'all. Because I don't even know. It's still recording, and I think it was still recording the whole time, but I'm sorry. I don't know what just
Oh,
happened.
okay, well, good. I talked for a
Yeah.
little while, then I realized I'm like, is she gone now? Okay.
Yeah, it like kicked me out. Like, okay, sorry.
Yeah, so that was about bringing yourself into a relationship because you're not bringing yourself yet if you haven't dealt with the parts of yourself that were kind of conditioned and thrown onto you as a child because you haven't gone through the process of peeling off those layers to discover who you are as an individual outside of what other people trained you to be. Now you could keep some of those great lessons, but some of them things don't work for you anymore as an adult. You needed that as a child, but as an adult, you are allowed to put on your own clothes. And just like a child learning to dress themselves, that autonomy is necessary. And you have to go through that process just like when a caterpillar transform into a butterfly, you have to go through that process, change, sometimes physically change how you look to become the butterfly, to become who you are. And
Yeah.
so relationships, before the age of 25 and 30, especially serious relationships, they are really tough because you're not even who you are yet. And you're trying to
Yeah.
be something for somebody else. And you don't haven't figured out how to be who you are, who you need to be for yourself yet. So that knowledge of self is going to help you in those times when you're trying to navigate that into in a relationship.
Yeah, and I love that you even spoke on that because for me, I'll be 30 this year, and I was in two long-term relationships from the time I was, which the first one obviously was very much like I'm a kid, but it was from like 12 to 20, which was my son's father, and then I had a relationship after that was pretty much over maybe by the time I was like 27. So I feel like at some point in life I had like a switch like, okay, this is not even who you really are, like get out of here. And my friend just asked me that not too long ago. She was like, if you and such were to start talking again, and I looked at her and I was like, girl, I'm a completely different person. Like I don't even know how I will be
I'm
able to
not even.
function around him because I just have no interest in even being in that part of my life. And even then, looking back, I realized that a lot of the time I was trying to shape to him and not have my own identity. And I tell people all the time in the podcast, like I had no identity. You couldn't tell me that Sierra was a separate being from that man. Like all I was very much relationship, relationship, relationship. How to cater to him, how to do everything. And it was like, yeah, you couldn't pay me to do that today. Like I'm cool. It's all about me. This is my world and that's that. Like so I know for me it the way that you explained it, I used to think that it would be hard for me to get in a relationship, but now I understand like how you said in the beginning of the relationship aspect I can't look at it as if going into it trying to give to this person and, really become this person and really just stand in my self awareness of myself. So I thank you for that. I had my aha moment.
Satori. Yes, absolutely. Yeah, it sounds like you're doing a great job living and learning.
Yeah, it's been hard. And they be like, girl, you just started. I'm like, please don't tell me that.
Well, yeah, you are. Like I said, your brain just stopped growing at 25, and then energetically, I know you know about the sun and the moon, but the planet Saturn
Mhm.
kicks in at age 30.
Okay.
Saturn orbits about every 30 years. So
Okay.
about 28, between like 27 and 30-ish, we start to feel the lessons and the blessings that Saturn want us to learn so we can grow. And so 30, 60, and if you live to be 90, Saturn will make his orbit, and that just means go back to the exact place where it was when you were born, just like the sun does for your birthday, and you'll
Mhm.
feel the like, you'll feel a shedding or you'll feel a growing. And so yeah, who you are before 30 is not who you are after um 30. So just keep living, keep growing. And if you want to like divide your life into thirds, like you had the first third, 0 to 30, and then
Mhm.
30 to 60, and then 60 to 90.
Okay.
So you just completed your first third, and you're not in control of the first third of your life. That's your tribe, your family, your community, your
Mhm.
church, your professional mentors, your teachers. That's all of their stuff they poured into you.
Right.
And now at 30, you're going to be like, okay, but who am I? Who am I? I love that. I appreciate that. And I'm going to take, when I go forward, I'm going to take what makes sense with me. But
Hmm.
some things, I need some new information, some new energy, because the person I'm becoming, what I learned doesn't apply to this new person I'm becoming.
Yeah.
And so you're going to need some new lessons and some new tools to use. So you're on the right track.
That definitely makes a lot of sense because I feel like there was even like a thing, at least maybe it was in my circle, my timeline because of my age, but I used to see something that would be like, it's like an internal switch when you hit 27, 28, and you start to come to your senses. So even you explaining it when it has more to do with actually like the world, the way that the design is of the sun and the moon, it's just like, oh my
The
gosh.
natural cycle of life. It's just the
Yeah,
natural
like
cycle of life.
that is so true because I
Mhm.
feel like that's
Yeah,
definitely when
nothing
my
weird. It's
switch
just the natural
happened.
cycle.
Yeah, that's definitely when my switch went off.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, I'm actually tired of living for other people and listening to other people. It's time to figure out who I am.
And that didn't just come out of nowhere. It
Yeah,
happened at that time for a reason. It happens at that time for everyone. And
yeah,
so, yeah, like I said, I just wrote about that. It's called You're Not Having a Crisis, It's Just Your Cycle. So go take a look at that in my library, and I go through that. So
awesome.
you may appreciate that.
Yes, I will go read it. And I'm also going to plug all of Erica's websites, her social medias in the description box on the visual and the audio. So you guys feel free to explore some more of her stuff because I know I will be on there right when we're done. I need to know some more. Um, so that's pretty much it that we have for today. I thank you again for coming on here. I feel like this conversation was much needed, and I'm really open to having another one because I feel like there's still so much more we didn't peel back. But I thank you and I appreciate you. If you would like to let the people know where they can find you, and just something that maybe you have to offer, maybe if you want to tell them about the human design test, whatever it is you want, you can let them know right now.
Absolutely. So my website is satorisynergy.com, and that's spelled Satori. That's Satori. The second word is synergy, Synergy. So satorisynergy.com. My socials are the same. So YouTube, IG, Facebook, Threads, Satori Synergy. And if you go on my website, if you do want to run your chart, it's not a personality test. It's not a personality test, is it? It's objective scientific information. We using NASA data. So you just enter your birthday, your time, your place, and we pull a snapshot of the sky. What I need your birthday because I'm taking a snapshot of the sky of what that exact moment you were born, because that's your energetic imprint. That's what the data comes from. And I just analyze that energetic and scientific data because that data transfers to behaviors that I can explain to you. That's
Mm,
that's all that's happening. So you don't have to answer any questions. You just go in, plug in your information, and like I said, no different than me pulling your fingerprint or your blood type. I'm just taking a snapshot, say this energy, I can read this energy, and these are the behaviors and experiences that come with this energy, and this is where you are in a larger cycle of life. Because you were born, the world was already turning. And
mm-hmm.
when you entered it at this exact time, this was the energy. So I know where you are in that cycle. And then I can help you as you journey throughout your life and make sure you continue to spiral up and level up and not just stay in the dark and just running in circles at the bottom. Because your life is happening regardless, whether you
Yeah.
acknowledge it or recognize it or not. I just prefer that you not just stay at the bottom running in circles. If you're
Yeah.
going to be here and you're going to be in this circle, these cycles that are happening, why not level up?
Yeah.
Right? And so that's what I help people do. So if you go to my website, satorisynergy.com, you can scroll down, find it on the main page, or you can just type in slash chart. You put in your birth info, you'll get your human design chart. And then I do have a free report. There are other extended versions that you could purchase, but there is a free mini report that I help you understand how you are as a professional in your career based on your human design. So that's an offer that's available right now. When you run your chart, you can look and see, download my free report after. So that's my gift to you all.
Thank you so much. I hope everybody enjoyed the episode. We definitely would love to have Erica back because I know I will. We will be in touch. If you want to share this episode to somebody, I encourage you to send it to your mother, your brother, your sister, your cousin, anybody that needs to hear this conversation because it's opening, it's awakening for me. So I know that it definitely opened some things up for you guys as well. So send it out, share it. And again, as always, without your rating and reviews, no one will know that this podcast exists. So please send it out, leave us a rating and review. Let us know how you felt about this particular episode because I know I felt a certain type of way. If I could leave a review, I would, but they won't let me. But I thank y'all so much for listening and thank you, Erica. And until next time, guys, bye. All right. I think it stopped. Hopefully it stopped.